Hello. So where are we, Paws?
All right, we are at the Kennebec River. This is the most formidable water crossing on the AT without a bridge. So we are required to take the canoe here. The canoe operates from 9 to 2 p.m. This time of year. So the canoe is down there, and currently we got the hiker Lucky. He's going to go first. We're in the town of Caratunk, Maine. It's a very small town, and we stayed at the Sterling Inn last night. So we're southbound. Caratunk is on the north side of this river. So it was easy for us to wake up, get breakfast at the inn, and then the inn drove us here, and we know that we're on time for the shuttle, or for the canoe, and it's not a problem. Coming northbound, it might be more difficult to make sure that you hit it before 2 p.m.
Because there's no camping on the banks of the Kennebec, so you kind of have to wait because they do not recommend, because we're upstream from a dam, I believe, and the currents are unpredictable. So take the canoe.
Yeah, that's what we're told, although I gotta tell you, it doesn't look all that bad from here, but you know, the warning signs, and it's in the guidebook as well, that there's several dams and the water can rise very quickly without warning.
Here we go. So we're taking this little side trail to Harrison's, which is a fishing lodge, but he welcomes hikers. So it looks like he's built this little bridge. There's even some LED lights for anyone coming to visit his outfitters. So we'll see what that's all about. So it's Wednesday, August 12th. We found this great stealth site. Did just over 10 miles today. We know we have some big mountains ahead. So we've got this stealth site, and we are on East Carey Pond in the background there. So we'll probably take a little dip while dinner's cooking. Good morning. It's Thursday, August 13th. We are on day 16 of our hike. We're at mile 161.5 at East Carey Pond. We had this lovely pond next to our tent site, so we took a little dip yesterday. And we are headed towards the Bigelows today. So it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous day. Probably humid again, but hopefully the temperature will be down.
What is the temperature right now?
It says 63 degrees. Feels warmer though, so I'll bet it's humid. Hi, so it's 3:30 on Thursday, August 13th. We have just gotten to Little Bigelow lean-to. So we're just on our way up to the Bigelows, but we'll reach all the peaks tomorrow, and then the day after, hopefully get into Stratton. So it was a nice walk today. We stopped at a lake. My feet, not as bad. I think the poles are working, and I took out the super feet insoles. So, I mean, they're tired. And when you're on them for 10, 11 miles, that's going to happen. But I think they're getting better. So, just getting my hiker legs. And it's been just a beautiful day. Hot, humid. But we're looking forward to getting into the tubs, which apparently are these like deep pools. So we'll do that, get our tent set up, have dinner, and just relax before some big miles tomorrow. Well, hard miles tomorrow. You're probably going to go 10 again, but they're going over the Bigelows. So, thanks. Good morning. It is Friday, August 14th. We are on day 17 of our hike. We're headed into the Bigelows. We are somewhere around the 166, 67? High 160s, I believe, in terms of mileage. It's 8:40 a.m. right now. We started hiking about 7:30. And we've got 10 miles that we're going to do today to get over these mountains into the next shelter. So it started at 60 degrees this morning, and I'll probably get to about 84, so it's another hot one. So we're almost to Little Bigelow. It's going to be right there. And then that is Avery Peak of the Bigelows. So go up over that and a little bit and then up that peak. But nice view. It's great up here.
So we have a beautiful cold spring coming out of the ground, but it's very flat here and not a good place to fill up. So what I'm doing is I'm laying the sea knock bag down into this flow, and then I'm pushing the orange part of the sea knock down into the flow of the water. It's very slowly filling up, and I can't fill the bag completely. I can only get it about halfway. Then I can filter some water and then get it the other, then fill it up again. As high as I can go right now. On the trail?
Yeah. So we just came down a little hill up there. And we're here. There's a campsite just over that way. But now we're going to go straight and somehow get up there. There's these big rocks going through. And up we go. So this morning we started out over there. We did that ridge, and now we have followed all down, and then we kind of making our way up. We found this nice ledge to have some lunch. But that's cool. That's where we started this morning. Hiking along. Kind of came up from there, along here. There's paws up ahead, and then we gotta make it up there. So we've been climbing for quite a bit. Got a little soft path here, and then I think hopefully that's the peak, but it's just phenomenal today. Hello. So today's the end of day 17. We did 10.2 miles today. We're at mile 183 in Horns Pond Lean-To. We got a nice little tent site here, but it was a tough day. Probably the toughest since Katahdin. Lots of ups and downs, rocks, but beautiful views. So can't go wrong with those 360 views. So right now it's about 6:30, probably past that. But we're ready to set up the tent, have some dinner, go to sleep, and then we'll go into Stratton tomorrow.
Show them setting up the tent.
I will. All right, pause here is setting up the tent.
Yeah, so I stake out the four corners, and then I get the trekking poles in place. And now I'm trying to pull this up, but the cord is stuck, so I think it got tangled with a bunch of other guy lines, so
Uh-oh.
I have to, yep, there's a little tangled mess right here. And Bliss was good enough to set up the filter.
Yes.
So we're filtering some water. It did come out of a spring, but it was an open top spring, and don't know what might be in there. So easy enough to filter, especially when we're at camp, because it's just gravity. It doesn't take any additional time out of our nightly routine.
So once that's filtered, we'll start dinner, and we are so ready to get into town tomorrow. The hotel we're going to stay at has apparently a good burger and a bar, so burger and beer. That's the goal for tomorrow. Just 5 more miles to get to Stratton.
All right, so the top of the trekking pole is going to go in here. It's a little pocket that's reinforced. And so it just fit on top, just like that. Then you can pull it down. And because I staked out the corners already, I don't have to worry about this toppling over. And now I just pull out this corner, and I'm gonna get it out around here. All you wanna do is make sure that when the door is pulled taut, you don't want this guy line being in too tight and kind of jamming up on the fly. So if we're just beyond the fly, anywhere beyond the fly is good.
Those are little vestibules. They're really nice to keep our stuff dry, although we really haven't had much rain.
Yeah.
All right?
Yep. All right. The last optional step for setting up the tent is these guy lines. And these are right in the middle, and they'll be right over your foot or your head, depending on which side you're on. But we can pull this up, and it greatly increases the headroom. If it's down, your head is going to hit the mesh. So I take Bliss's poles and I get it right here in the middle, and I pulled out all the slack that I had, and then what I do is I just put in a little slip knot. Like this. So it's just a slip knot. I can bring that down, and that's fine. It's not going to go anywhere.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
Our fuel just ran out.
Okay.
And the water's flowing.
This morning we're feeling a little bit of mist in the air, and the clouds have rolled in. It might even start pouring later on. So we put our pack covers on, and these are new pack covers for us, and it's the first time we're using them. They have a hood that is tucked under there, but I could pull the hood out, put it on, like something like this. Again, I've never done this before. It's a new product for me. I guess there's some snaps so I could snap it shut. And for someone like me, I run super hot. So I tried the poncho when we first set out at Katahdin. And one of those days it rained, and I put the poncho on. It was like 30 seconds and I was ready to pass out from overheating. So I looked for an alternative, and I think this will provide just enough protection for summer hiking in the rain.
Good morning from inside a cloud. It's Saturday, August 15th. We are on day 18, and we woke up this morning to some fog. We caught a few yards, 100 yards, whatever, into our hike, and about 50 feet of visibility right now. But we have just under 5 miles to go to get to Stratton, and then we will take a rest at one of the inns in town for the night and resupply. So that's our plan for today. We'll see how the terrain is. Sometimes it looks easy on the elevation, and it's not, but hopefully get there just after lunch.
Do you want to mention temperature and that you put on your fleece for a minute?
Yeah, this morning I had to put my fleece on. It was about 58 degrees when we were breaking down camp. I took it off obviously because I'll be sweating when I hike. And then I got my pack on, my pack cover. So be a good day. So we just got to the bottom of this nice steep descent. I actually gave the poles to David so that I could use my hands. So, and we'll keep going. We got just about 3.5 miles to Stratton. So we saw this little stream, and then a little plaque. At least for those coming north, this is the 2,000 mile marker. It's a big deal. So for us, it's about 180 something. But if you're coming north, you'll hit this and get a nice replenishment of water. And then we've got about 2 miles to Stratton from here. So, trucking along. Hello, so we just got to North Crocker Mountain, elevation 4,168 feet. Not the same as the others, not no real view, but climb wasn't too bad. It's just very gradual. Now we're gonna have a snack and then head down South Crocker Mountain in a mile and get to a shelter. We were 5.2 miles this morning and it's about 1 o'clock, so we left at 9:30.
Look at my, it's not even as bad as it normally is. My shirt's wet, but we've actually been taking it fairly slow. Usually it's completely saturated. Right now it's just straps.
Yeah, it's not as hot today. It's nice and breezy, so. It's Sunday, August 16th, day 19?
Like 19?
Yeah, 17 was Friday. Yep, so 19. Here we go. So we're coming down the other side of Crocker. So that's what I just did. Oop. And now down there.
Just getting the large pine cones out.
Sure. Clearing out the space. We are at Crocker Cirque campsite. We are in a cirque, which apparently is like an amphitheater type glacial formation. But some campsites here, tent pads. So we had tough terrain, but a little over 7 miles. Tomorrow we're gonna get up early and pull out a 14, cross our Fingers, so we can get into the Rangeley on Tuesday night. Good morning. It's Monday, August 17th. We are at about mile 198. I know we're gonna hit 200 pretty soon. We're about 2.5 miles to the shelter for lunch. We got up at 5:30 this morning, left a little bit after 6, between 6 and 6:30. So we're gonna put in a 14-mile day to get to the Poplar Ridge lean-to. And then tomorrow we can hike out to Rangeley, which will be nice to see some family. We just passed the Sugarloaf, the trail to go up there, but we're gonna continue on and just keep hiking. Don't know what's ahead.
What day of our hike is it?
We are at day 20. Yes, day 20 of our hike, August 17th. So we're almost to the 200-mile mark. So
What temperature was it when we woke up today?
like 53. It was like, I'm in my tights. I actually had to hike a little bit in my fleece too when we first started out. It was chilly, but it's obviously getting warmer. So
Great.
yeah, good morning. So this plaque is to commemorate the men who helped complete the Appalachian Trail in Maine. It was near this spot they completed the final link. At the time, it was 2,054 miles in 1937. And then this plaque, it looks like 1987. August 14th, so no anniversary date. And then so this big plaque here is to commemorate that we have gone 200 miles of the AT. We've completed 200 miles in 20 days. So about 10 miles average with 1 0. So, but 200 miles, woo!